Welcome back to Triple F Sports Talk. I'm Josh. That's Bryce, and that's Roy way over there. Not in studio. We're all separate. Um, Interesting week we had. A couple college football games. One that we were at. A couple of weird NFL games. None of our teams played this week, Bryce. Both on byes.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a weird week. Oh, and baseball is still going on. Got two teams left. I think we'll talk about that a little. Let's rock right into it. Let's go into NFL Week 7. First, let's rip the scores. I'll start it first. Broncos going to New Orleans and handle the Saints 33-10. Jaguars in London take care of the Patriots 32-16. Lions beat the undefeated Vikings 31-29. Bills handle Titans 34-10. Colts win a close one over the Dolphins 16-10. Seahawks go into Atlanta and win 34-14. Packers at home beat the Texans 24-22. Bengals beat the Browns in Cleveland, Battle of Ohio 21-14. Saquon Barkley's return to New York and the Eagles win 28-3. Rams take care of the Raiders at home 20-15. Commanders obliterate the Panthers 40-7 without Jaden Daniels for most of the game. Chiefs win Super Bowl rematch 28-18 in San Fran. Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football beats the Jets with Devontae Adams 37-15. Ravens beat the Bucks, and the Bucks' entire receiving corps gets hurt 41-31. And then that was Monday night. And then the other Monday night, an ugly one, Arizona beats the Chargers 17-15 at home. With that, let's just do our predictions. Roy, second week in a row, first place. Congrats. Roy goes 12-3. Good week for Roy.
I went what? I went 12 and what?
12-3.
Wow.
Bryce is one behind him, 11-4, and then I was two behind Bryce, 9-6.
The Bucks game got me.
Yep, and then we all missed the Chargers the last game of the night.
Yeah.
Horrible.
So
game our overall standings for the season, Roy's taking first place, 62-45. Me and Bryce are tied, one behind him, 61-46. So it's really close. Roy started cold, and I started hot, and we've kind of reversed it. Bryce has kind of stayed right in the middle most of the weeks. So let's just talk about it. Roy didn't have a game of the week. That's correct?
That's correct. I didn't.
Yeah. Nope. So let's go to Bryce's game of the week. Bryce, what do you got?
I had the Ravens at Bucks. I thought it needed to be talked about. This game, the Ravens just kind of dominated the whole game. It's only a 10-point game, but a lot of that was kind of junk time. Buccaneers even got an onside kick, which both the recovered onside kicks of this whole season have been against the Ravens. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Did not know that.
Buccaneers start off the game up 10-0, I think, and then Mike Evans goes down. That was a huge part of their offense that went out for the rest of the game. You could tell it just wasn't clicking right with Baker. A lot of mistimed throws. And if your offense isn't clicking right, you're not going to outscore the Ravens. Because, Derrick Henry was busting out 90-yard runs. Lamar Jackson is clearly a front runner for MVP with 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Just an absolute stud on offense right now. It's hard to see anybody beating the Ravens from now on unless they're just on a bad night. But it sucks for the Bucs, man. Mike Evans goes down. I think he's week to week now. He was ruled out for next week, but Chris Godwin might have his career ended after the injury that I saw. This was literally the first injury I've ever seen that they didn't show the replay on TV because they said it was too gruesome. But if you watch the little clip that it showed, his ankle was literally the opposite direction. Like one foot was going down, the other foot was like this, like spun all the way around. It was disgusting. So prayers to Chris Godwin. Hopefully he can play football again at some point, but there's no way he comes back this season.
Yeah, I watched the game. Once the Bucs off, yeah, you're right. Baker Mayfield did just look a tick off at certain times. He was throwing a couple balls. That first pick he threw to Marlon Humphrey, there was 4 people right there, and his receiver was about 15 yards deep, just off connection. I've been impressed with the Ravens running game, as they have always been since Lamar Jackson got there. What's been really impressive since their 2-game losing streak to start the season is how well they've thrown the ball. Lamar Jackson, I don't know if he's ever had a 5-touchdown performance throwing only.
That was his first.
It's really impressive. And if they can start doing that with the run game they have, they're going to be unbeatable almost.
I think he's got 18 straight touchdown passes with no interceptions too.
And another thing, which I don't know if this is the whole story, it sounds like Chris Godwin avoided a major injury. He's still going to be out probably for most season. Looks like they're calling it just a dislocation, which, if you dislocate something, you could still tear other things into it. But he didn't snap his leg in half like some people thought at first. So maybe he avoided a major injury.
I mean, his ankle literally was going the opposite direction as his other foot.
No, see, yes. I mean, what I read was Chris Godwin is probably will be out this year.
Yeah.
I'm sure, and depending on how bad severe the ligaments, he might have to have some surgery, but he's out for this year. No, I mean, the Ravens look good. I mean, they do. I mean, like Lamar Jackson looks amazing. When you get Derrick Henry going, it is just ridiculous. I mean, he's still for as old as he is still a train and a beast to bring down. That defense, though, by Ravens doesn't look like a typical Ravens defense. Yeah. Bucks moved the ball on him. Baker Mayfield he just threw some bad passes. He did look off. He just didn't. I mean, when you lose your top receivers, it's tough. But he just didn't. They got late in the red zone a couple times. He just made bad mistakes. Now, but that Ravens defense doesn't look as solid. Now, when your offense is scoring quickly and your defense is constantly out there, it's going to wear down. But Ravens best team in AFC right now. I mean, you're going to still. It's going to be a battle with the Chiefs, and I think the Bills are still there. There's some other teams. They're a good team. The Bucks, I think are a good team. Now, to make up for their receiving core being out, that's going to struggle. They're going to. They have the guys. But Baker's not going to be able to do what he's been doing. So that's a bad sign for them. But that Ravens team's a very good team.
Yeah, I agree. Got anything else, Bryce?
The last thing I want to mention about this is another game on primetime that is just absolutely taken over by the refs. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of flags that are thrown every single time. Josh just talked about the interception in the end zone that he had. Doesn't happen if the touchdown isn't called back. I mean, both teams had maybe 2 touchdowns called back apiece. There was a flag on every play. It's not even fun to watch, and they're doing it on primetime.
Yeah.
The last 2 minutes of the first half, there were 16 flags.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It goes by crews. You look at the stats of the crews. Some crews don't throw that many flags, or they might hone in on holding as their main call. Some crews just throw it everywhere. So that'll take me to my game of the week. I went Lions-Vikings just because the Vikings were undefeated, had a bye week last week, so they had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And then Lions last week, they do demolish, or 2 weeks ago. Or no, last week. They demolished Dallas, but they lose Aiden Hutchinson. How will they go going into the game? A lot of people all year said the Vikings weren't as good as they've been playing, and that could be true. I think they've definitely impressed. But what I took away from this last game, or this game, was the last drive that the Vikings had before the Lions took the lead. Lions punted. I think there was about 3 minutes left. And the Lions had all their timeout. Or maybe, I think they only had 2. But Vikings could have just ran the clock, got first downs, game over. What do they do? Typically, I think the Lions did have 2 timeouts. I think they did 2 runs, and I think they got about 6 yards total, 3 and 3 or something like that. Then it's 3rd and 4. And then, that's where it's like, okay, they're out of timeouts. Do we run the ball and bring it down to about a minute? Or do we throw it and, basically try to win the game? So what do? They put the ball in Sam Darnold's hands. They run an out route, and he's wide open, and he misses them. And I think that's kind of the experiment right now. As good as he's looked, is Sam Darnold going to be the guy that wins you a playoff game, wins you a Super Bowl? I still say no. I could be wrong. Maybe he gets better as the season goes on. But, at the end of the day, the guy is wide open on an out route, and he does lose you the game at the end of the day. I know the defense can get a stop, but that's got to be a first down. He's wide open, clear pocket on a rollout, and he misses them. And that's kind of how I feel about the Vikings. As good as they are, I just don't trust Sam Darnold when it matters. That's what I took.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with Josh. I thought Sam Darnold played a great game. There was some stalls out, and then obviously the end of the game. But what I do trust on the Vikings, as a Bears fan, I trust their defense because that defense is stellar. They came out went up 10-0, looked like they were going to take charge of the game the entire game. But Lions did what they do, and Jahmyr Gibbs had a couple crazy runs. I mean, fast as lightning back there.
He is good.
God. They did what they did, and they just pounded the ball and played Detroit football and ended up hanging in there long enough to come back and win it at the end of the game. But the end of the game was sloppy. Neither one of these teams looked like they have the quarterback, to me, that's going to go out and win them a playoff game. I think the Goofball and Sam Darnold are both solid players with the team that they're on, but neither one of them are the team that's going to go win you a Super Bowl or something with their quarterback, I think.
See, I think you got the two best teams. The two best teams in the NFC at right now. They just played each other. I mean, both defenses I thought played decent. You got special players on both sides of the ball both teams on offense. I mean, Gibbs is good. St. Brown for the Lions can just make a catch and just do things. I thought Aaron Jones played really well. I mean, I think I think he looks better than he did in Green Bay. And then Jeffrey. I mean, I thought Jefferson did great, but I mean, quarterback play I thought was pretty good. I just thought the defenses did a really good job of trying to put pressure on him. And whether that's you can put a lot of pressure. They got a lot of years, the rest of the year to go. But these two teams are going to meet again. But I thought the quarterback play was a bit better than I thought it was going to be. I haven't been high on either. I mean, Jared Goff has been higher on than Sam Darnold, but I thought they both played well. Down to the fourth quarter, it was a battle. And just I was kind of surprised that the Detroit was able to go down the field and kick that field goal to win it.
Yeah.
But you got two good teams. Some of these other teams in the NFC's got to step up because both these defenses are pretty legit, and that's going to cause some problems for anybody that's going to test them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
And with the rest, I think the rest of NFC is just not. They're down. There's just a lot of teams that are hurting down.
Yeah, a lot. NFC's really banged up.
Yeah.
A lot of teams banged up.
I mean, right now every NFC North team is making the playoffs. So
yeah. And then Bryce team's on a bye, and so is mine. So we don't have anything to talk about for that. So that's just going to take us into our pick for the winner for this week. So I'll start with you, Roy. We just talked about them. Vikings go to the Rams. What do we got?
I think the Vikings come back and win. I mean, it's tough to pick those kind of games because you come off such a battle like that. In the next week you play, it's just kind of a letdown. It's a kind of an in-division rivalry. But I still think that the Vikings are a better team than the Rams.
Yeah, I still think the Rams are a little bit beat up to be as good as a team as I think they can be. Even the Vikings, that defense is going to have a heyday with them having their two biggest offensive pieces out still.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Vikings. I do think Cooper Kupp's going to play in this game, but I still just don't think they have enough firepower to keep up. That's Thursday night. Let's go into the noon slate. Don't have a London game this week for a change. Packers go to the Jags. I'll go first. I know they won this week, but the Jags are just a mess of an organization at the moment. They got a lot of issues. They're not playing as good as they should. Maybe last week, but I'm going Packers.
Yeah, I mean, this game to me does seem like it could be a trap game. The 5-2 versus 2-5, and then an upset. But I do think the Jags are still not playing well enough to beat the Packers, so I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, the Packers. I mean, the Jags only won last week because they stayed in. Stayed in England. So Packers are going to win that one.
And they're down 10-0 right off the start.
Yeah.
So, Cardinals go to the Dolphins. Tua expected to be back. No concussion cap either, by the way. Fun fact. So
rethink that.
Bryce, I'll let you start. What do you got? Cardinals at Dolphins.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I don't know if either one of you watched any of the last night's Monday Night Football game between the Chargers and Cardinals. Those are two bad football teams that I don't have any enjoyment when I'm watching them. I mean, Marvin Harrison's about the only guy on the team, either one of those teams, that I really enjoyed watching, and he is even starting to not look like this generational player that he was supposed to be. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Roy?
I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins. I don't want to. I think Tua might struggle a little bit, but he's got too many weapons around him to not be successful. And that Cardinals team, I don't know how to predict them, so I'm gonna go with Dolphins.
I saw Kyler Murray's like 8th in the running for MVP, and that's just insane.
Yeah. Kyler really hasn't played that bad this year. Has a lot of rushing yards for a quarterback. I mean, watch that game last night. He ran right around the corner. All of a sudden, there was no one there. Ran like 30 yards for a touchdown. I'm also going to go with the Dolphins, though. It's in Miami, and they should get Tyreek going a little bit. Get him the ball on some screen routes, some quick passes, maybe get some juice back in that team just a little bit. But that defense is bad. I mean, they have a lot of people on IR for the rest of the year. So it honestly wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals came in and the Dolphins are just punting the season, but we'll see. Jets go to the Patriots. I told myself last week I was done picking the Jets, and then they play the Patriots now. Give me the Jets. The Patriots are lost 6 straight, so they're not playing very well. So I'll take the Jets.
Yeah, this will be the first time I think I've picked the Jets, actually. I don't think I've picked them one time because, like I said, I was right. They're not a good team. Aaron Rodgers does not make that team good, but the Patriots are still probably the worst team in the league, maybe next to the Panthers.
See, I'm going to go with the Jets, but I think they're better. They've just played a tough schedule.
Yeah.
And I think – but the Patriots, even when your own coach says you're soft, you're not going to
win. Next game, Ravens at Browns. I'm taking the Ravens, not even close.
Yeah.
Me as well. Myles Garrett should be a Bear this year or this week, so.
Yeah, I mean, Ravens, might as well.
What's the trade look like? I want to hear it.
It's going to be like 2 first-rounders and Nate Davis.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett's going to where?
Chicago Bears.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
They're getting phone calls every day about him, they're saying.
Yeah, and they probably go, hello.
I doubt it. I guarantee. I mean, what do they have to play for? Deshaun Watson
Myles Garrett
went down.
27 years old. He's got more than just this year left.
Yeah, He did. It's going to be him or Max Crosby. He's about to move soon to one of these teams that's trying to make a push for the playoffs.
Crosby would look good in a Lions uniform, I think.
No.
I agree.
Next game, Eagles at Bengals. This one feels like a trap to me because the Eagles' defense is really piss poor against the pass, and it's really all the Bengals have done is pass the ball, and it's in Cincinnati, but the Bengals' defense is pretty bad too. So I'll take the Eagles, but this is a close one in my opinion.
I'm actually going to take the Bengals. I do think that both these teams have been 2 of the biggest upsets for this season, but I do think the Bengals still have enough star power to overcome that Eagles defense that hasn't played very well.
Damn it. I'm going Bengals. I was hoping to be the only one to go Bengals.
I almost went Bengals, so we almost all did it.
Damn it. I was going to go Bengals. I am going Bengals.
I actually think the Bengals could win. So next one, Colts at Texans. I'll let Roy go first on this one.
I'm going to go – gosh. Colts didn't look too bad. Texans, I'm going to go Colts.
Bryce?
Now that Anthony Richardson's back, I might not pick the Colts for the rest of the year because I think he might be one of the worst picks of all time in the NFL draft. I'm going to go with the Texans.
That's just a crazy statement to say.
I mean, watching him play football is like watching some high schooler play against little kids, but he can't throw the ball to anybody. He just throws it as far as he can every time.
I almost think he's played less games than Caleb Williams in the NFL. It's very close. I'll take the Texans, though. I do think they win, especially at home. Titans go to Lions. Don't think this is close. I'll take the Lions. Gibbs and Montgomery might run for 300 yards combined.
We do need to speak about how the Lions are a bunch of fucking cheaters and they got Williams taking steroids. It's kind of bullshit. And the NFL's little fucking fairy tale team, they can't suspend them more than 2 damn games. That's bullshit. People get suspended for the rest of their season over that all the time. But I am going to take the Lions.
You just said Lion hater. Go Lions.
Falcons go to the Bucks. I'll go first on this one. If Mike Evans and Godwin were playing, I'd be picking the Bucks. They're not. I think they're going to struggle. I am going to take the Falcons.
Sadly, I am going to also take the Falcons, even though Bucks are one of my favorite teams. The 2 injuries is just too much for them. Their season's pretty much over, if you ask me.
So I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I still think they can still run the ball and do things against that Falcons defense, and their defense still isn't too bad. So I'm gonna go Bucks.
Yep. Next one, Saints at Chargers. I learned last night that the Saints have not won since week 2 against the Cowboys. They've lost 5 straight, and they have been obliterated about every game. I'll take the Chargers.
To me, I don't think that's an easy pick for you to say because I think these are 2 of the worst teams in the NFL right now. I mean, they brought in Harbaugh to be terrible. That's all they did. Just make their offense not click at all and turn Justin Herbert into a fucking hand off the ball quarterback like he did with J.J. McCarthy in Michigan. So I'm going to take the Saints.
Wow.
Whatever.
Spencer Rattler's going to throw for 300 against him.
And Jim Harbaugh, and they had a inflated payroll that he had to cut a bunch of players, and then he's got to go draft it. So, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Go Chargers.
Bills at Seahawks. I thought this would have been a close one, but DK Metcalf's not playing, so I'll take the Bills.
I'm also going to take the Bills. Amari Cooper seemed to help that offense a decent amount. He already got his first touchdown in his first game.
Yeah, I'm going Bills.
I don't know if you guys saw that Keon Coleman had to tell him to play for his first touchdown, but yeah.
Yeah. Next one, Bears at Commanders. Bryce, I'll let you go first.
Commanders, I don't think that this is more than the Bears should win by at least 10 points whether Jaden Daniels plays or not.
You said Commanders.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You go Commanders, and then you said exactly what you just said.
No, I didn't mean to.
Okay. I was making sure. You go Commanders, and then just went on a spiel about how the Bears are going to kill them. I
said Commanders, then went on a spiel about the Commanders. Is what I was trying to do.
So Bears.
Yes.
Roy?
Commanders.
I really would have picked the Commanders, but it doesn't seem like Jaden Daniels is going to play. So, unfortunately, I'll be taking the Bears because Marcus Mariota, nah, not betting on that guy. Chiefs at Raiders, not close. I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not a Raiders fan anymore?
No.
I've never been a Raiders fan.
They are the worst team. I can go put my Raiders hat on if you want.
All right, Chiefs.
Panthers at Broncos. Again, Panthers are so bad. I'll take the Broncos.
I agree.
Yeah, Broncos.
Cowboys at Niners. Sunday Night Football. Roy, I'll let you go first.
Go Niners. Don't think Cowboys can win anything anymore.
Bryce?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Niners. I mean, Cowboys are still injury-riddled, and this, to me, looks a lot like the Eagles-Bengals game. It's 2 teams that have just not performed this year the way that people thought they would before the season.
Yeah, this is really – I mean, when you think Cowboys-Niners, there will not be nearly as many people on the field as you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
The entire receiving core for the Niners is out. The entire defense for the Cowboys is out other than their safety and corners. Cowboys are just too banged up. They're not going to win this game. So I'll take the Niners because Cowboys are just injury-riddled everywhere. Giants at Seahawks Monday Night Football. I don't think this is close. I know, Bryce, you talked about how you think the Jets are one of the worst teams in football.
What did you say? It's Giants Steelers.
What did I say?
Giants Seahawks.
Giants Steelers, excuse me. I know how you talked about how you didn't think the Jets are very good at all and one of the worst teams, as well as the Colts. I stand by this. I think the Giants are the 3rd worst team in football behind the Patriots and the Panthers. I think that entire coaching staff's gone. I think Daniel Jones is gone, which isn't really a hot take, but I'll take the Steelers. I think the Giants are that bad.
Yeah, the Steelers started Russell Wilson this week, and I think they got better from the 4-2 that they were. So I'm definitely taking the Steelers over the Giants.
I agree, Steelers.
Yeah. All right. I don't think we have anything else for football, you guys.
Nope.
All right. That's going to take us to college football, Roy.
All right, here, let me pull this up. The rankings this week. Top 12. Coming up in a couple weeks will be the official college football or college playoff rankings.
Yep.
Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State 4, Texas 5, Miami 6, Tennessee 7, LSU 8, Clemson 9, Iowa State 10, BYU 11, and Notre Dame 12. And that's your rankings. First game we'll talk about is your the Georgia-Texas. Any thoughts on this?
I'll go first on this one. I didn't get to watch this game. Obviously, we didn't get to watch many other games other than the one we'll talk about here in a little bit. But from what I've seen in the highlights, that Georgia D-line was just too much. Really the defense, but the D-line, 5 sacks allowed, or offensive line allowed, all over Quinn Ewers. They even had Arch Manning in there a little bit. Nothing clicked offensively for Texas, and that's what we expected the Georgia defense to be. They looked like that week 1 against Clemson. They look like that this week. It's just in the middle. They hadn't been very good. If Georgia defense plays like that, they're the best team in the country because of how athletic and good they are everywhere. And for Texas, they're at home. It's kind of an embarrassing loss, but it also could be a good wake-up call. So I do, even though Texas got beat, I think it's okay for them.
Go ahead, or I can go actually. Yeah. Georgia just completely shut down Texas' offense. I mean, they didn't score the whole first half, scored 15 in the third, and then didn't score the rest of the game. Georgia, to me, their offense isn't at the same level as their defense, but if their defense is completely shutting down teams like that, they can get their points and win by however much the offense is going to give them because that defense just looked insane. And Texas, on the other hand, we've been talking about how they do look like an SEC school. I don't think that they quite have the defense of an SEC school that we typically see out of the SEC, but it is a good team still. I mean, they put up 15 whenever Georgia's defense was playing outstanding defense in the third quarter. So I still don't think Texas is – I don't think they're the 1 seed anymore like they've been ranked for a while, but they're still a great team in football, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think what this showed, Texas got out-coached. Georgia's defense is good, but they haven't been that stellar all year, and their scheme just outdid Texas has 5 offensive linemen who will be drafted this next year, probably maybe 4, and they just destroyed them. And Quentin Ewers, who I thought would probably be a top 10 pick, did not look like Quentin Ewers that I thought was going to be in the stuff. So I really think Texas did get a wake up call about, hey, you're going to have to bring your A game every game in the SEC. And you're going to have to be physical every game. Because they've looked physical most of the year, and they did not look physical that game. They looked like they were scared to death, deer in headlights, and got beat because they got out physical. So
you know what that tells me when a team, looks so bad, especially like a quarterback looks so bad and literally just can't do anything, is Georgia just did something that Texas didn't prepare for. They probably went all week looking at coverage or something, and then Georgia probably did something a polar opposite, and they were just deer in the headlights, didn't know what to do at first, and then couldn't adjust. That's what it tells me. So, I do like your idea of being out-coached.
They were. The next game, Tennessee hosts of Alabama and wins 24-17. Bryce, I'll let you go first.
I'm not going to lie. Tennessee came out absolutely terrible. I mean, Alabama did too as well. The first half, I think it ended 7-0, and Tennessee had 4 turnovers and 3 missed field goals, a fumble, 2 interceptions by Nico, and an interception by their backup. That's just terrible football, if you ask me. We kind of talked about it. Neither one of these teams have been playing great in the past 2 weeks, probably. They had the Vandy and Arkansas loss. They both lost the same week and then barely beat a team they should have crushed the next week. So we kind of said whoever came out playing like they're supposed to is going to win this game. Well, second half was a completely different game. It was a shootout most of the game, but what it really came down to is Nico started delivering. He's young, so he's going to have those issues. He's only 20 years old. He's going to have those issues in the pocket sometimes going out against Alabama in the first half. He stepped up, though. That's what you want to see out of a quarterback like that. And then Tennessee's defense completely stepped up. I mean, they shut down Milroe for most of the game, turned him into basically a running back, and just kind of kept chewing away and getting their points where they could. Finally started making some field goals and ended up winning the game. But it was not a great game. Sealed it with an interception at the end of the game to win it. So good win by Tennessee. Hopefully they continue this momentum into the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch this game and I didn't see many highlights. I was kind of babysitting 2 drunks when this game got wrapped up and stuff. But from what I did look at the stats, it seems like Alabama's pass game has been off ever since the Georgia game. Like they just inconsistent, turning the ball over. And when you play a good team like Tennessee or anyone, you can't turn the ball over and expect to win. They get the ball back for the final drive, first play, Milroe throws the pick. It's over. You just can't have that. I think they just need to work on their pass game a little bit and get some guys open. Maybe get them some easy throws, some check downs to get them in a groove quicker. I don't know, but they need to get it going because they're running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, this was just the first half was defense, and that's because both teams got a pretty good defense. Second half, there was adjustments, and I felt like Tennessee made the adjustments, and Jalen Milroe did not, and that's what's killed him all year. Is he's not progressed the way that you're supposed to be in your third year, and I just thought Tennessee outplayed him in the second half, and that's how they won. And you turn 2 big turnovers, that helps.
Yep.
The last game we'll talk about, the game we were at. The Michigan goes into Illinois, and Illinois wins 21-7. Who wants to
I can go first.
Yeah, Bryce, go first.
I don't have any skin in this game, so even though I wasn't from Illinois, since I'm from Illinois, I actually said last week's episode, I said I thought this would come down to Illinois stopping the run, and if they do that, Michigan being able to pass the ball. Well, Illinois stopped the run, and Michigan wasn't able to pass the ball. The game really wasn't like a blowout, I didn't think. I thought it was kind of like the score was only 21-7, but it never felt like Michigan was even close to the driver's seat. I mean, Illinois, I'm not going to say they dominated, but they were in the driver's seat the whole game. From what I remember, I was in the concourse a lot, getting my next beer and talking to like the Native American mascot that they had and stuff like that. So from what I do remember, that's what happened. And then we stormed the field afterwards, ripped my shirt jumping over. So it was a great game to be at.
Roy, your team lost, so I'll let you go next.
This was a game that Illinois defense did a really good job of maintaining the Michigan's run offense. Field possession played a huge key in the early part of that game. I mean, actually the whole game. Illinois didn't even start past their 40-yard line, but on one possession the entire game. So I mean, as field position was just terrible, and half of it was because Michigan's punter just sucked ass. He shanked them out of bounds. So Michigan's defense, I didn't think played too bad. Just some bad blitzes did just moments where I just don't, you didn't stay in your gaps, and then they let Altmaier just run up the field for 20 or whatever, and then the fake field goal. I mean, I felt like Illinois played to win, and Michigan just did not. After a bye week, I really expected after a bye week Michigan would come ready to play, and they did not look like it. They were not looking like a team that was ready to finish the season off. And the offense, I don't know what you do at quarterback. Bring in the freshman because it's ridiculous that you got a 7th-year senior who can't throw a simple out pattern to a wide open tight end in the end zone, and you throw it 3 yards short and the interception on the goal line. I mean, just stupid things, just fumbles. No, Donovan Edwards, who I praised all year, beginning of the year, is just a track star in pads, and I've been disappointed. I did write some stuff to the Michigan fan thing on the podcast because I am fucking pissed because, you spend all this money, you do all the thing. Fuck it. I'm stuck. I love Sharon Moore, and I really want, but this is not the team that, that you put together. If you're just going to be like this, you got to start doing Ohio State and getting $20 million every year and going to get transfer portals. That's what everybody else is doing, but Michigan refuses to do that shit.
Well, Roy, let me just say something. As Zach Walke would say, you guys did win the Natty last year, so that's all you can care about, really.
No, I don't. I care every year.
But I mean, everybody knew Illinois would have a shot if they stopped the run. That was their big question. I thought their game plan, and I'm not saying like X's and O's, I mean like mentality and physicality. I mean, they busted their ass and stopped the run. So hats off to them for that. And I think they did that. They stacked the box. I think they played a lot of one high safety. And Michigan did a lot of pre-motion, pre-play. And you saw Illinois' guy running with them. They're manned up with a heavy box. And they said, your quarterback will not hit the receiver if we get beat. And he didn't. That quarterback is the reason Michigan lost this game. He had open receivers on out routes, like Roy said. He had open receivers up the middle where he was just too afraid to make the mistake, and he held on to the ball, took the sack. I didn't think Illinois got too much pressure, per se. The sack numbers look good because he held on to the ball for so long. But I just thought defensively, Illinois loaded the box, played man-to-man, and made Michigan's quarterbacks throw the ball. And I also don't think Michigan's receivers had much separation most of the day. they did have a few guys open here or there. Their tight end had separation. He was good. But their receivers, I thought, played piss poor as well. And offensively for Illinois, they didn't play that well. They got a couple key penalties so that, that doesn't go into the stats per se. So I thought they moved the ball okay. The only time that I thought they moved the ball all right was when Altmaier ran, or on a third and, let's say, medium or long, it felt like Michigan just played it safe and dropped into a zone. And Illinois would just find the zone, the open spot of the zone. But big win for Illinois. Now they get a big boy test this week on the road to the number one team in the country. But I hope that they ride some momentum and actually make it a good game, because after this game, Illinois has a pretty favorable schedule for the most part. No more ranked teams. And if they, let's say they lose this week, they'll finish the season with 2 losses. Penn State at Penn State, Oregon at Oregon. I mean, those are 2 respectful losses. So, but I'm hoping they have a good week this week. So that's all I got.
All right. So the last game we always talk about, the Air Force. They got beat again. They were 1-6. Got beat 21-13 by Colorado State. So,
and their last place in the Mountain West. I saw it today.
Yep, 0-4 in the Mountain West.
Damn.
So next week Tennessee has it off, so they get the bye. Illinois, like you said, goes to Oregon this week, plays the number 1 team, and Michigan hosts the Michigan State Spartans. Big rivalry. So hopefully Michigan shows up and doesn't be a bunch of pussies. So
yeah.
All right, that's all for college football.
All right, let's go into baseball. The CSs are over. I don't think we have to tell you guys much. Dodgers beat the Mets in 6. Yankees beat the Guardians in 5. But before we do that, I wanted to dig up some stuff. I went back to all our episodes, AL East preview, NL West, all of them, and I grabbed one thing that we all predicted. Now, after the very first one, we did the NL West, and I said, give me a surprise. It could be a player, it could be a team, anything. After that, we didn't do that anymore. We only did standings. Like, what do you think the standings will be? So the first one has some good from some of us. Like, oh, we predicted something, and it happened. After that, it's just bad takes, let's be real. And I just thought it was funny. And I hid it on our sheet to make sure you guys didn't see it beforehand. So I'm going to open it up. I don't want you guys to be looking, and I just want to say it. So now that we only have the World Series left, let's look back. I'll start with myself. We did NL West first. I said in the NL West, my surprise would be the Padres would be the surprise team. Obviously now it doesn't look like a surprise, but the way we talked about them, we had them as a 4th place team, almost all of us. So I'm going to take hats off to me on that one.
Of course,
funny enough,
was a good one or something from himself.
Bryce also said, I think the Padres will end up winning more games than the Diamondbacks, who had just been to the World Series when we did this. Hats off to you, Bryce. You thought the Diamondbacks could come out slow after a long postseason. That's exactly what they did.
Yep.
And now Roy's is more fun. Roy, you thought the Giants would be the surprise team and make the playoffs. So they were kind of banged up. I'll give you a little bit of a break, but not the best one. After the West, though, I'm going to be honest, this is where it gets funny. We all have bad takes for the rest of the way. Let's go NL Central. That was our next one. I'll start with Bryce. Bryce, you had the Reds winning the division. Obviously, you guys were all high on them. You thought the Reds were the clear-cut favorite to win the division. There goes Roy.
That was Roy.
I think he's still here. I think
he's still there.
Yeah.
Camera just went off.
I'll go my next one. I have 2 of them. I had the Cardinals winning the division, making a big jump back. Not looking good. I also had what's his face? Walker. What's his first name for the Cardinals?
Jordan Walker.
Jordan Walker. I had him as the biggest riser of any prospect in the division.
And I'm pretty sure I said that motherfucker won't be playing by the end of the year.
And he played most of the season in AAA, so another tough look.
Which I did call.
Roy is kind of similar to Bryce. Roy, you had the Reds winning 94 games this year in the NL Central. Finished 4th place. And funny enough, when we did the projections, I had the Reds in 4th place. So I was actually right on the Reds. And then this one was for all of us. We all had the Brewers in 5th or 4th place in the division. All of us. So NL Central was a tough look for the boys, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
NL East. This one did have a little bit of good. I was correct on the Marlins not being good, and I also had the Mets being the surprise team in the division. The problem I had the Braves as the 1 seed over the Dodgers. Tough luck after the Dodgers.
You lose a couple of players, and the Braves struggled.
But so a little bit of good there. Good and bad for Bryce. He did have the Marlins finishing 3rd in the division above the Mets and the Nationals. Tough luck. And he did have the Mets. He said, I think he had the Nationals as the last place team, but he goes, I think the Mets might win 5 more games.
That's probably what I said, yeah.
So, tough look as they go to the
It didn't look like a tough look to the last month of baseball.
I agree. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. And Roy had the exact same thing as Bryce. Marlins 3rd in division. Mets might finish a few games over them. But something he did get, which was just the wrong teams, he did say 3 teams in this division would make the playoffs. He just thought the Marlins would be one of them.
Yeah. Didn't know the Mets would.
So he did get 3, Mets, Braves, Dodgers, or Phillies, just the wrong team at the bottom. Let's go to the AL West. I want to start with Roy because this one actually I thought was a little funny. Roy thought the Oakland Athletics would win 42 games this year and be the worst team in baseball history. He was on to something, just a little wrong team.
It's the wrong team.
Bryce didn't have anything crazy, but he did have one thing that was good. He did think the Astros would win the division. Me and Roy did not have the Astros winning this division, so good for him on that. And then I had a tough one. I said the Rangers would be the 1 seed and breeze through the season. Also did not happen. So that one was a tough one. This is the one I think you guys got it the most wrong compared to me. I'll start with Bryce. Bryce had the Royals winning 4 games more than the White Sox this year. He also looked at me when I had the Royals in 2nd place and said, that's just crazy. So, no, they're not so good look. I think him having them win 4 or 5 more games over the White Sox, that might not have been that bad until the White Sox won 30 games or whatever it was. So then it looked really bad. Roy had 2 things bad. He did have the Royals finishing below the White Sox. That was one of them. So that was a tough one. His other tough one, he had the Minnesota Twins finishing in 1st place in this division. Me and Bryce both had the Tigers. And then I really only had a positive. I had the Royals finishing 2nd place in the division, and they did. So that was a good look on my end. AL East actually wasn't too bad. The only thing I had wrong, I had Baltimore winning the division. And then other than that, Bryce's was pretty clean, other than he had the Red Sox in last, but we all had the Red Sox in last, so really isn't a bad look. It was just they were 3rd. And then same thing with Roy. He had the Red Sox getting 68 wins. Again, not very true, but understandable. Only other one I would say that Roy didn't have great, he did have the Rays winning 86 games and making the playoffs. Not a great look.
No.
And that's it. I just thought it was kind of interesting to go back and see some over. I really liked the Royals finishing last place. I thought that one was funny. I also thought the Marlins finishing in the top 3 were pretty funny. So, yep, I just wanted to go back and take a look at what we thought would happen and what actually happened. So, I just think we're going to talk about we didn't watch this series as much. Let's just recap Dodgers Mets. Bryce, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, Mets kind of they won most of their games by last minute home runs, the 8th, 9th inning. Their star players really came through in like low scoring ball games, or it was a high scoring differential between the Phillies and them. But the Dodgers kept the gas on most of the time, and then they went back to LA to end it, and they just didn't have the stars that were able to hit big shots at the end of the game. I mean, you can't rely on that forever throughout the playoffs and going into the World Series. And Dodgers just have too much of a star-studded lineup to do that against. So that's really all I got for that.
Roy, what do you think of this series?
Oh, I mean, pitching was bad for both teams, in my opinion. And I just think the Dodgers had more stars. Mets made it. They were hot there at the end, and it just shows that, you can get hot, but there's just too many rounds nowadays to stay hot and go to the World Series and to win it. So I just think the Dodgers had too many weapons, and it showed at the end.
Yeah. I think the Mets, they got in because they were hot. That's obvious. But I think they had a good matchup. The Mets, they, like Bryce said, had timely hitting in the playoffs. That's what moved them on. I mean, their first round matchup was against the Brewers, who, let's be honest, they got there because of their pitching. It wasn't because the Brewers were putting up 10 runs a game. And they were down to the last inning against the Brewers and had that Pete Alonso home run that kept their season alive and then won the next game. I think the Mets moved on because of their timely hitting, and their pitching is below average, but I think they just didn't run into a buzzsaw until they met the Dodgers, who absolutely pounded their pitching, and their offense just couldn't keep up at that point. So good. The Mets were really not supposed to do anything this year, so it's a good run for them. But their magical season does come to an end. One series short. Guardians, Yankees recap. Bryce, you don't have as much love for this one, so I'll let you go first as well.
Yeah. To me, I said at the beginning of the playoffs, I thought that if the Astros and the Orioles both lost, then the Yankees would have a clear shot at the World Series. And what I said happened, because I thought the Yankees had too strong of a bat to go against the Royals and the Guardians, who I thought relied more on pitching than they did on hitting. And exactly what happened, the Yankees just out-hit the Guardians against their good pitching. That's exactly what I thought would happen, and it did.
Yeah. I'll go next on this one, Roy, if you want me to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees, they took care of business of Kansas City, who definitely is a pitching first team. Let's be real. But they got to him. They got to Seth Lugo, who had been good. They got to Cole Reagans a little bit, who had been good. And they got to that bullpen who was good in their Baltimore series. Then you come into Cleveland, and yeah, Cleveland doesn't have the offense, firepower. They do have Jose Ramirez, Naylor. They do have a little bit more of a firepower. But, that bullpen is lights out. And the Yankees got to their best bullpen arms. Let's be honest. Clase looked like shit against the Yankees. Gaddis, their setup guy, 2 big home runs that ended up losing him 2 games. Really, the only one that was good was Herron, their lefty. And the Yankees timely hitting, which has always been a killer for them for the last 5 years and into the regular season this year. Not good at timely hitting. They got it this series. 4-1 is what the series looks like. Every single game was down to the wire. I mean, it could have easily have flipped to a 4-1 Guardian series the way that it went. Now the Yankees pitching staff, who has been good but not great, will go into a buzzsaw to face the Dodgers. But the Dodgers rotation will be the question, but we'll get into that here in a second. But good timely hitting from the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me that Rodon would pitch pretty good, really good one game and pitch really decent the second game, and Judge wouldn't hit hardly anything but a timely home run in Game 3, and we still won the series in 5, I would have said you're full of shit. Because I thought the pitching was way better than I thought it was going to be. Bullpen was great. Other than a miss here and miss there, but keep Holmes out of stressful situations, and then we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Judge didn't hit well, but Stan is just on fire.
Yeah.
And Soto. I mean, there's nothing. Just like Jazz said, pay the damn man, pay him money because he is unbelievable. And the Yankees just did what they got to do. And this brings me to the old. I mean, I think I text you guys. This reminds me of the old Yankees where they battled, and they would just make that timely hit in the late innings and win the ball game. That's what they used to do in the early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s. And then they just quit. That just kind of fell apart. But this is a different team. As long as the pitching continues to be as good as they are, they're on their way to do really good things.
Yep. So that leads us into the World Series. I mean, it's the 2 biggest brands in baseball, Yankees, Dodgers, East Coast, West Coast. Dodgers get home field advantage for having the best record in baseball. So first 2 in L.A., Friday and Saturday. Off day Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in New York, if needed on Wednesday. And then Friday, Saturday in L.A. for Game 6 and 7. Bryce, I'll hit it to you. What are you looking for and what do you think?
To me, one of the biggest key factors of the series is Aaron Judge. I think if he can get hot, he wins ball games by himself, but there's 4 guys on the other team who does that as well. So I think that this is easily the toughest matchup you have. I mean, it's the World Series. I thought that the Dodgers can do what I thought maybe the Astros or the Orioles could have done to you guys in the playoffs, where they're going to out-bat you the whole game, even if your guys' pitching is better. You guys are going to have to pitch to somebody. I don't think you can pitch to Shohei, but I also don't think you can pitch to Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman. So to me, I think the Dodgers will win this. I know you guys are both Yankees fans. They spent $1 billion on their team in the offseason. I mean, they still look good. They beat out a hot Mets team. And the Yankees, to me, haven't really faced anybody who has a strong lineup yet. They just played against good pitching. And I don't think that that's going to hold up as well against the Dodgers.
Roy, I'll let you go next. What do you think?
I think the key will be the Yankees pitching. I think the Dodgers pitching is not good. Starting pitching is not very good, which will help the Yankees hitting. World Series comes down to you got stars. That comes still down to that unnamed player. I mean, if you look past any World Series, it's that one guy at the end of the lineup who that you didn't expect. And I think that you're going to see both teams have that, but it's going to be that I think who's going to get the hot one. I think the Yankees have more guys that could do that at the end of their bat. The Dodgers got a great lineup. Freddie Freeman hasn't done anything in the playoffs, and so
right now, but
and I think Mookie can be contained. You can't pitch to Shohei. It's big moments. So the Yankees, as long as Boone doesn't go stupid, he'll do a good job of hopefully managing that team, putting them in the right spots. I think the Yankees win in 6. I think it's going to be a close game. You're going to have one of those games where probably both sides. One side, the Dodgers will probably win like 10-2, and next game the Yankees will win 10-2. It's just you're going to have a game like that in between those series, and but I think it's going to be great. It's a star-studded show. You're going to see get ready to see a lot of pictures of celebrities and all the other bullshit, and Taylor Swift and all the other shit. And just get ready for it. But go Yankees. Yankees are going to win it.
Yeah, Yankees hitting side, Dodgers pitching side really reminds me a lot of the Guardians series. Good or really bad starting pitching for the Dodgers this postseason, really. They only have 3 guys. They've already said they're going to have to do a bullpen game for one of them because they don't have the 4th starter. But really good bullpen there. Their bullpen has been good. Michael Kopech, Blake Trinan, and Evan Phillips. They're 3 setup guys. The Yankees are going to have to do what they did to the Guardians. Get that early lead. Hope that their pitching can just contain them. The thing that's going to be different is the Dodgers lineup compared to the Guardians lineup and Royals. They are going to hit. It's just how it's going to be. The Yankees must hit to stay in the games. And they have hit. And I don't like the Dodgers pitching staff, especially their starting pitchers. The Yankees need to hit or they are not going to win. If the Yankees do hit, I think they can outlast them because I do think, like Roy said, there's going to be that blowout game here or there for both teams. But the Yankees have played close games in every single series. Royals games were close. Guardians games were close. The Dodgers, other than the Padres series, which they did play 2 or 3 close ones against the Padres, they didn't have a close one against the Mets. And they're all blowouts. Now, the Dodgers have enough veterans and stars that I think they're not going to get nervous under pressure. Shohei hasn't played in a World Series game. Neither have most of the Yankees, to be fair. But
he's actually gone this time.
Yeah, I just think it's going to come down to what pitchers can step up and play well. If the Yankee starters step up and play good and control the Dodgers lineup, I think they win. If the Dodgers pitching staff controls the Yankees and shuts them down a little bit, I think the Dodgers win. I think pitching is going to be the answer. It's going to be weird, especially out in LA. It's warm in LA. It's weird. You're going to go warm, cold. It's going to be a little weird with World Series, in my opinion. I'm used to just being cold. So,
I mean, I think it really comes down to a player like Jazz Chisholm or Gavin Stone or Will Smith, somebody that's not the star players on the team, stepping up and winning at least one game for them.
Yeah, I listened to I don't remember who it was. I think it was Michael Kay, and he really talked about the bottom of the lineups are going to win the World Series for a team. Yeah. You know, you think about like a 7, 8, 9 of Volpe, Wells, Verdugo, I'm just going to use those as an example. If those guys can draw walks, get hits, and get on, you let Glaber, Soto, Judge, and Stanton drive them all in. Same thing with the bottom. You let Chris Taylor. You let Kike Hernandez.
Yeah.
You let Will Smith get on. Shohei, Mookie, Frey, they're going to drive them in. It's who can work those tough at-bats at the bottom of the count and get on base, and then, let the top drive them in. So
something I do want to say about this game, though, is that no matter who wins, a 2016 World Series Cub will be getting another ring.
it's true.
Anthony Rizzo and Jason Hayward.
Yep, even though Hayward is an Astro. But you're all right. You're all right. But I don't think I have much else. It should be a good game. Only 3 games will be played before we talk to you guys next, which will be Friday, Saturday, and then Monday. As a Yankee fan, I'm looking at one thing. The Yankees need to leave LA with 1 win.
Yeah.
I'd love to, obviously. If you leave there 1-1, you're fine. The Yankees are the best road team on paper in baseball. So I feel very confident. We've done very well on the road. We were 2-0 in Kansas City, and we were 2-1 in Cleveland. And I will say, I know it's a playoff game. Dodgers, to me, are not that kind of team that has those rowdy, crazy fans. Like, it's LA that's nice. They're all just there to, catch the Suns. Now, I get to the World Series. Their diehards will be there a little bit, but not like that in New York. I do like the Yankees' chances. I think they're hitting at the right time, which is big. I do have Yankees, and I do have them in 7. I am going all the way to the final game. But that's all I got. We should be fun.
Yep.
Takes us to our miscellaneous, and I don't have anything. So.
Oh, okay. I guess it's just me. I really was wanting Roy on this because I think he was going to be a big help to you. But I am still going to go ahead with the game. Since it's the World Series starting, I thought we should go back and see how far you can go in order with World Series MVPs.
Oh, that's even harder.
Yeah. I thought you and Roy were going to be doing it together, so I
thought about to say World Series winners. I'm like, well, I can go a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Are you going to tell me the teams that play in the World Series, or do I have to know? Do I even have to know that?
I can if you want.
If you can give me the teams, I can.
I'm not going to give it to you right away, but
well, I can tell you last year.
Go ahead.
Oh, Corey Seager.
Yep.
The year before that, that was 23, 22. I believe the Astros won 22. Because then 21 was the I think the Astros won 22. I don't know if I know who won that because obviously I didn't watch it. I mean, they were just cheating their way. It's not a big name, I feel like, because I would know it. Who I'm trying to think of a pitcher. Catcher. I don't really know, honestly. I know it's not him, but I'll go. Oh no! It might be Jeremy Pena.
It is Jeremy
Wow,
Pena.
okay, yeah.
I thought you were going to lose it already.
Nah, because he was so hot going in.
Yeah.
Then the year before that is the Braves, and I want to say Jorge Soler won it.
That is correct.
Man, that solar power, man. Holy cow. Now the teams are going to start getting me confused. The year before that, I want to say was the Dodgers COVID Mickey Mouse one, which I believe Corey Seager won that as well.
That is correct.
Okay. 19 is the Nationals. Steven Strasburg won it.
That's correct.
Now I don't know if I know a team. 18. Actually, I do. I think it's the Red Sox. You're not going to like this that I know this. What's his first? I know his last name. I'm trying to think of his first name. Something Pierce.
That is true.
What's his first name? He's a first baseman. I can see his face.
Steve Pierce.
Steve Pierce. I was going to say Stephen Pierce, and I knew that wasn't right. Steve Pierce. 17. Or no. Am I in? No, I'm not in 17. No, I am in 17.
Yeah, you're in 17.
Well, that's a cheating Astro, so I can tell you that.
It is.
I don't know if I know this one for sure. I don't think Jose Altuve ever won one, but he might have won that one because he was really cheating that year.
It was proven that he did not cheat in that World Series, actually.
Yeah, he did. Every one of them cheated.
It was proven.
I mean, I literally heard the trash cans being banged. You're thinking of 19.
It was proven.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go on a limb and say it was George Springer.
It was George
Oh,
Springer.
my God. I'm on a roll.
2016.
I don't know if I know who won in 16. I think that was the end of my line of knowing who won. 16.
You know who won the World Series, though, don't you?
I don't think so. Not like just. I don't think it. Don't think it's Boston. I don't know if I know who won
I
this.
can't tell if you're playing around or not.
I really don't.
It's the Cubs.
Oh fuck yeah. Who won their MVP? I think it was Ben Zobrist.
That is correct.
Yeah, I thought so. I was trying to make sure I didn't miss somebody. I forgot they won that year. 15. I know who won in 14. Is 15 the Red Sox? No.
No.
I don't know if I know who won the 15.
15 was the Royals and Mets.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, they had a lot of studs. My gut is going to – oh, no, I do know who won. Salvi.
Yep.
I know from the Royal series.
I knew that one.
I was actually going to say Lorenzo Cain, but I do remember that. 14, I know Giants won, and I know Mad Bum won that one.
The Bum.
Pitched in, I think, 4 of the 7 games, by the way. That's why he won.
That's crazy.
Started 3 and then came into relief to close it, one of them. The game 7. So that was 14. 13 is the Red Sox, right?
Yep.
Oh, man, now we're really going back. I don't know if I know this one at all. That was the year they all had them awful beards. Awful beards. I mean, my gut has to say Big Papi. I'm going to go Big Papi, even though I don't know.
That is correct.
Wow, that would have been my only guess. So if that was – what year did I say that was?
13. This is 2012.
So then 12 is back to the Giants.
That is true.
I know it's not Mad Bum. I really only have 2 guesses. I'm going to miss one right in this range. This is about where I'm going to miss it. This one I'll go Buster Posey.
No.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. My other guess is Pablo Sandoval.
No.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, I knew it was one of those 2. I thought it was. 11
is 11.
Yeah, that's easy. It's David Freese.
That is true.
That one I would never be able to forget. 10, back to the Giants. Is this one Buster Posey?
It is not.
Okay, I don't know this one then.
Renteria.
I've never heard that name. So there, I knew one of the 3 Giants was someone I didn't know.
Renteria.
Yeah. So I knew I was coming to an end whenever that guy hit, and it's that one.
I guess he was a Cardinal.
no.
Before Edgar Renteria.
I don't know. Edgar Renteria?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that name. I don't know anything about him.
Then the 2009 World Series. You should know this one.
Matsui.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot who won that until you said
I
that.
literally just asked it last week. So.
Yeah, I knew he won that one. I just forgot it was 09.
08. 08 was the Phillies and Rays.
Oh, I knew the Phillies won. I don't know who won their Worlds. I would Chase Utley.
C. Hamels.
Cole Hamels, pitcher.
The year before that, 2007, was
that the Rays?
The Red Sox and Rockies.
Oh, yeah, I don't even remember that World Series. So
Red Sox won Mike Lowell.
Mike Lowell, yeah, I've heard that name.
And then I'm just gonna go through them after this. D. Eckstein.
David Eckstein, 06.
J. Dye.
Jermaine Dye.
Manny Ramirez.
Yep.
Jay Beckett,
Josh Beckett,
Torrey Gloss,
Troy
Troy
Gloss,
Gloss, C. Schilling,
Kurt Schilling, pitcher.
Randy Johnson, the big unit in 01. And then 2000 was
Jeter.
Yep.
Goat. All right. That was fun.
Yep.
I did better than I thought I would do.
You hit every guess. Like all the ones you were unsure of, you hit. 2010
was the first one I missed, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, John Boy Media, for all the videos I watch.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go Yankees. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Gotta find my way to